Hi there. So welcome to Pilates at Swarthmore. We're doing this for wellness programming for the college community. And of course, I'm here on the top floor of the Matchbox. We're just starting fall semester 2022. And I know there's a library of some of these videos. If you want to go back and check them out, please do. I'm going to start with a beginner intermediate Pilates class today and sort of go through some of the fundamentals as I work out with you to show you what we're thinking about when we're doing Pilates. Of course, this is a mind-body exercise, perfect for Swarthmore, and I hope you enjoy the class. So one of the things that we almost always begin with is an exercise called hundreds, which puts us into a position that's called an upper abdominal curl. And it's easiest to get into that from above, particularly if you're either new to this or you've taken the summer off from your Pilates practice. So why don't you go ahead and start sitting near the front door of your mat, legs are bent, and you can take your hands to the back of your thighs and begin by doing what we call pelvic tuck. So I lift my elbows so that you can kind of see what's going on with my back. So if I'm really sitting upright on my sits bones, I'm perched here, what we would consider a neutral spine. There's a slight indentation at the waistline because I've got a curve backwards through my rib cage and also through the sacrum underneath the waistline. But to begin with your roll back into your upper ab curl, you would start by sinking your weight behind the sits bones, rolling back over the glutes to your sacrum, which is big fused bone here. Some of your vertebrae were fused, as part of evolution to create that sacrum as part of the pelvic girdle. And then we place the spine down one vertebra at a time until you come down to the base of the rib cage and then to the tip of the shoulder blades. So you're trying to pull yourself up so that you're looking down your nose towards the belly. And here for hundreds, we would extend the legs, or we extend the arms forward and start pumping your arms up and down. It's called hundreds because you inhale for 5 beats, and then exhale for 5 more, making 10, and then do 10 sets of that. So you can continue pumping if you're in this position. Now, this may be enough for some people. In fact, it might be a lot. You'd always grab a ball and take it behind your head or your shoulders to hold you in that upper ab curl if you're really trying to figure this out in your body for the first time. Now, if you've been doing this for a while and you want to expand the work, you would bring both legs into your chest. A little closer, it is easier. You can always hold onto your legs and regroup if you need to, and then start pumping again. Never look up at your knees or up at your legs when you extend them up towards the ceiling, because once you do that, the head falls back. You're really going to feel that constriction in your throat, and it'll be harder for you to feel the work in the upper abdominals, which this is designed for. Now, once the legs are here, this position is what we call tabletop, with the shins parallel to the floor. You would have the option of extending the legs either up or out, or a combination of the two, right? So you may want to think about when you're doing your hundreds here, that you could slide the legs forward a little bit at a time to gradually increase the load into the low abdominals, right? It's okay if you want to hold one hand behind the head and pump with the other arm and then switch them periodically. But eventually you get to a position where the legs are extended out. You feel in your abs, your back is not arching other than the additional arch that it has at the waist. And you squeeze the legs together to firm up the inner thighs and also engage a little deeper into your transverse abdominis muscle across the lower belly. So let's just do one more full breath in and out. And then you can fold your knees and lower yourself down. The thing you should do is, number one, nothing should ever hurt you in Pilates. I mean, you may feel some work, you may feel some stretch, that might even feel like a little strain. If it is, ease off of that a little bit. But the idea is to feel good and gradually keep improving your strength, improving your flexibility. So the whole hour that you spend during your Pilates just feels wonderful in your body and is something that you look forward to doing, and not something that you force yourself to do. The next exercise we're going to do is a roll up. I'm going to demonstrate a full roll up here. The legs would be extended, the arms could start vertically, which is a good idea to place the shoulder blades into the mat, or you can take the arms further back for a more advanced position. You begin by lifting the head, neck, and shoulders. Here you are in the upper curl position. You exhale and you dive forward, rounding the back. Suck the belly back towards your spine and you round over your legs. And then you would go back the same way. Now it's easier if the arms are forward and lower, maybe even sliding the hands along the mat, and more difficult when the arms are up and overhead. Actually, the easiest of all would be right there to do this with a TheraBand. You're going to take the Pilates class with me? Perfect. We're just using a TheraBand, a ball, and a mat. Okay. And I'm filming this too, so it's on the Swarthmore website. Okay. So I'm Cathy, by the way. Hi, Hi, nice to have you in class. And you can use the TheraBand here around the feet so that you can roll your spine down incrementally. Pilates believe that you worked your spine 1 inch, 1 vertebra at a time in order to have the healthiest spine possible and really kind of the happiest and healthiest life possible too. We felt that people who were stiff and immobile in their spines and weak in their spines as well really had were old beyond their years, and the people who were older but had flexible spines and strong muscles to support them and also could coordinate that movement appeared much younger and actually had a much younger physical age than they had a chronological age. But using the TheraBand when you first start may help you really bend your spine and come up. It gives you a chance to find some of that work without having too much load initially. So have you done Pilates before?
Just like a YouTube video, once or twice.
Okay, that's great. So we just worked through the roll up. So we're just going to do a couple more if you want to do that with me too. That'd be super. This hybrid work is always interesting. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep an eye on you, and you keep an eye on me. Just ask if you have questions. Okay. This is good because if we have someone live in the studio here too, it's probably going to answer some questions that you would have as well on the screen. Great. All right. So with the legs extended forward, we press the legs together and sit upright. Hey, welcome. And then we could begin actually stretching forward to hold onto your feet. If your hamstrings are tight, you can bend your knees a little bit. Yours don't look tight. And you can even drop your head down and suck the belly back into your spinal curve. Good. Then release the arms. And if you have the strength, you bring the arms sort of parallel to the ground on the way back. We curl the tail up to your sit behind your sits bones, down over your hips. We go as slowly as possible to challenge the individual levels of the abdominals. So you go down to your sacrum, to your waist, to the ribs, to the bra line, to the tip of the blades, the ribs, the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the neck and the head lay down, and the arms can reach back as long as you don't arch the back additionally. Lifting the arms, you nudge your head up off the back, chin to chest, exhale, pull yourself up and curve the spine. So we're trying to feel the abs and not just the hip flexors as you come up right here. That's really good. And then reach out through your head, between your fingertips towards your feet, and pull the waist back away from your legs. So the heels would reach forward, the toes curl back for a little more stretch in the back line of your body. And then we'll begin to go back again. Legs zipper together, push forward with your heels, round your back. Now, if it's a little too easy, bring the arms higher. If you're accelerating through your movement, you bring the arms low. And you can choose a different position at different moments in time, right? You don't have to just go, oh, I'm stuck here in this position with my arms. You're only committed momentarily. So let's lift up, lift the head, neck, and chest. Exhale. We're trying to live in the moment here and explore what our bodies can do. So you dive over, take that big stretch forward. Now the shoulders are relaxed, so think of widening the collarbones. That will automatically drop the shoulders away from your ears. And now lengthen through the legs, curl the pelvis. It's rotating here around the top of the femurs, those are your thigh bones. And you go down incrementally. Think like if you're wearing a striped shirt, 1 inch, 1 stripe at a time. Excellent job. Good work, both of you. And then stretch the arms behind you. We'll come up one last time here. We start with an inhale to lift the head, neck, and chest, and then exhale to pick up the rib cage because that's the hardest bit of it. And then suck the belly back so the spine is curved, it's rounded. You're not just hinging from your hips, but you're diving over with the feeling the lift in the belly as if you're diving over a beach ball. And then on the way back down, maybe think of that beach ball coming up your thighs and laying over the low belly, and then rolling up your body to sort of roll you over, like you're getting rolled over with a rolling pin. And then we'll take it all the way down and then circle the arms around to our side. Excellent job. So we want to use a fair bend here. Did you grab one? You got one too? Perfect.
Am I visible on the screen?
No, you guys are not visible. You're welcome to be, but we don't expect anyone to. So we're going to take this band around your right foot. And the placement is at the ball of the foot and at the arch. And if anyone watching on screen doesn't have a fair band, you can use a belt, you could use a yoga strap, some of my clients have used belts and leashes, you know, any kind of thing like that to help you would be great. But fair bands are good if you can pick one up somewhere, order one. In any case, so maybe pull that knee into your chest, and as you roll back, we're still doing like kind of that roll down we just did. You work yourself down and push out to the foot, and then at the top, well, at the end of the movement, you're laying down and have the leg lifted up to the ceiling. So we anchor the elbows down at your side, and you slide the elbows forward so the shoulders ease away from your neck, and your neck is elongated and beautiful. If you feel like your head is falling backwards a little bit, that's normally a sign that your chest is tight, and you may want to take a folded pad under your head, a towel, a sweatshirt, something like that, to lift the head so that your forehead and your chin are level. Meanwhile, here with this right leg lifted up to the ceiling, if your hamstrings are tight, the leg will be forward a bit, so you can always bend your knee to the point where you can lift the leg so that the foot is sort of right over the glute here on that side. And we're just going to begin to take a point and flex with the foot. You do want the band to be pretty tight for this, and roll through the foot as if you're articulating back just as much as we did our spine earlier, toe ball heel and heel ball toe. Does that make sense? Yeah, beautiful. So you have sort of a Barbie doll foot, and then you have a flex foot, like you're standing at the edge of the ocean, your foot is sinking into sand. Now we end with a soft point, and we draw a big circle in the air with the legs. You begin with the inhale to bring your right leg across the left. Exhale, go low, out to the side, rotate the leg externally in the hip. That means the knee and the toes point out and away from the body. And then you bring the leg up to the top, neutral at the top. So it's a short, deep inhale to start the circle and a long, slow exhale all the way around. So at the end of the movement, you should feel that exhalation end and the belly sink down and deep to the spine. So in this level of the exercise that we're doing, we keep both hips grounded. So even though you're stretching the leg out into space, it's equally important to keep the hips heavy on the mat. So that actually what you should be thinking and feeling is that before the leg moves to the left, you press down through the right hip, and then you reach out long over the other foot. You pull the left side of the body into the ground like it's sinking into quicksand as you bring the leg slowly around and up on the right. So again, one breath per circle, go long, and we're really using the weight of this leg that's moving in space to challenge the ability of the torso to stay grounded here and really stable on the mat surface. That's why you get both length in the body and also strength in your core. We're just going to do one more short inhale, long exhale, and come all the way up to the top. Pause, maybe give yourself an extra little stretch here into the hamstring. Again, soften the knee if you need to. You don't want to strain the back of your knee. And now we reverse. So we start externally rotating the leg. It goes out to the side. The left side is grounded. It's stable. It's sinking into the floor. Exhale all the way around. Right side now presses into the ground as you lift the leg over to the left and up to the ceiling. And again, reach and exhale. Ideally here, the wrists are straight and you're sort of pivoting the forearm from your elbows. So the forearm and the hands stay in line with the bare band and the leg. They're sort of all parallel to each other. What we don't want to see here is that you're holding the forearm vertically and then getting a lot of pressure and rotation through the wrist. We get enough issues with the wrist holding our tech equipment. Yeah, let's just do one more. So inhale, push the leg away, and exhale, circle low across the body. Lift it up. We're gonna bring it to the top and give a stretch. So you'll take both ends of your band into your right hand. If you need a little extra support, the left hand can also assist. But otherwise, the left arm can go out to the side or to your hip bone crest to be sure that the hip stays steady. As you bring the right leg out to the side, you'll look for that stretch across the inner thigh and maybe rock that leg a little bit parallel to your body. So it's going sort of from your hip towards your shoulder and back again. And it's a gentle, smooth movement. That's good. And then exhale, pick the leg up, use your inner thigh. And at the top, we're switching hands. So now the left hand holds the band. You can extend the right arm out and get that hand. And then bring the leg across the body. So if it feels okay, I mean, you can keep the hip down and then just bring the leg over while the right hip is grounded and feel sort of that stretch in the IT band, the TFL, this outer thigh. But if you want a little more stretch into the back, you come up and roll onto your left hip. The right hip is in the air. And we're really keeping the right shoulder blade grounded. So it's almost as if you're thinking that the pelvic girdle, that whole hip area, is parallel now to the wall while your shoulder blades are and your chest are still parallel to the ceiling. And then we can rotate that leg a little internally so the heel and the toes, well, the toes and the knee point down, the heels lifted. And then you exhale to pull yourself down from your left shoulder to the waist to the right hip, and that will lift the leg up to the sky. And once you're there, maybe pull back on it a little bit, really re-engage into a hamstring stretch that feels safe for you. We don't want to over pull at either the knee or the sits bone attachment, but really get the stretch into the belly of the muscle here. Now fold that knee into your chest, the band comes off, and just pull that knee into your chest as tightly as you can. If your knee is an issue, hold onto the back of the thigh and not to the shin. And now for the sort of the grand finale of this moment, you get to slide that foot forward and just feel the comparison between the two legs. So let's see if you notice anything, right? So typically what people find is that the leg that they just worked is longer, right? Maybe you feel more connected to the floor on that side of your body, not just the leg, but also like the low back, maybe even the rib cage here. Breathing might be easier through the right lung compared to the left. You've got more expansiveness there, but also the leg is more energized. And the other leg is like, okay, it's my turn, let's go. So let's do that. So you can grab your bare bend again, hold the left knee into your chest, maybe give it a little hug first, and then we'll place the band on the foot. If you need to come up to sitting to do that, that's fine. And then you'll just roll back into it. So now we extend the leg up. And remember, if when you extend the leg, it's low because your hamstrings are still tight. Perfectly normal in our really sedentary society. You're sitting tends up our hamstrings. So be patient with them, give them a chance to stretch. But also when you lift it to the ceiling, then if your hamstrings are tight, bend the knee more so the foot is right over the sits bone, right over the glute. Otherwise, extend the leg. And we did a few point flex on the other side, so we will here as well. So I reach to the heel, the ball of the foot, then the toes, curl the toes down, and then lift the heel as high as it goes. And that allows us to feel a little stretch in the calf. Now it's helpful to pull the shoulders down by pulling the elbows as close to your waist as you can. And then we end up with a self point to begin the circles here. Now again, we're keeping the pelvis grounded. So you rotate the leg internally and we reach across with the left leg. It goes over the right and then forward and around. It can go low, out to the side, and then up to the ceiling. And remember, you're only going as far with the leg as you can stay stable with your hips. The breathing actually helps. We start this with an inhale because then we're already engaged into our exhale as the leg is reaching away from center. With that exhale, you'll feel the abdominal wall contraction, which helps you organize and stabilize the pelvic girdle on the floor. And we are trying to work for the shortest inhale and the longest exhale possible without running out of breath at the top of the movement. And you reach here, maybe feeling the stretch in the outer thigh as the leg goes across and the inner thigh as the leg pulls out to the side and then up to the ceiling. So reach here, keep pushing the foot further and further, as if you're drawing a continuous spiral out into space. Let's just do one more. Should feel really good. We're working through all the different aspects of your leg muscles here. Pause at the top, and we'll reverse it. So you externally rotate to pull the leg out to the side. Remember, the right side is rounded as the left leg stretches to the left. Now the left side is heavy as you pull the left leg over to the right. So you need to anticipate the movement and weight of your leg. If it gets over there and then you're trying to pull the pelvis down, it's too late. You have to think ahead of the movement. You're pressing down through the right side and then you reach left. You press down through the left side and then you reach right. And don't worry if you can't quite figure out exactly how you would be organizing this. Just ask your body to get heavy on one side and then reach away from it. Imagery will often give us exactly what we need. You don't even really need to understand the whole biomechanics of it. We'll do one more circle here. Really keep pushing out through the center of the sole of your foot. And then bring that leg up to the ceiling. Enjoy the stretch. And then we'll take both ends of the band in your left hand. Again, if the leg feels heavy, and they are heavy, each leg is like 1/6 of your total body weight. So you can always use the other hand to help. And you can put the right hand on your right hip to also press that pelvis down. If you've gone too far and the pelvis is tipped, lift the leg up, re-engage the hip to the mat on the opposite side, and then reach out from that. Now the arm too that's holding the band is sort of like a kickstand here. So really use the press of that upper arm into the ground to help support the weight of your leg. And then we'll exhale to pull the leg up to the ceiling. Switch hands, and now the left arm extends. As you pull the left leg across, you gradually peel the body off the mat. However, keep the shoulder blade down. Even though the ribs might lift, the whole shoulder girdle is pressing into the floor. And you can pull that leg a little closer to your shoulder and then rotate it internally to increase the stretch you feel across the glute and into that sacral area. I know the first time I did that, I was like, didn't know there were muscles there. And certainly didn't realize I needed to stretch. But there you are. So we're going to pull the hip down to lift the leg up, flies up to the ceiling, and give it as much of a stretch as you feel comfortable with, right? And then you can pull that knee into your chest. The band comes off to the side. We're going to pull that leg in. Often after we stretch a part of the body, we want to compress it. It enjoys both in the joints and probably also in the muscles. And then we can slide that leg forward. And here, maybe wiggle a little bit, shake out your legs, and then just relax and notice what has changed in your body. Right, so now the left leg should feel just as long and as relaxed as the right one did earlier. Then you left, we balanced you out. And we're going to come up now to sitting. So let's pull the right knee into your chest, reach your hands under the thigh, pull the left leg into your chest, and then lift that left foot up to the ceiling. Elbows are wide and a little forward. So you're looking straight ahead. You pick up your head, chin to chest, push both legs forward and slowly roll up. Good, exhale through the hard part, nice. Oh, we made it. All right, questions on anything so far? Feels good? Perfect. All right, so rolling with the ball. We're trying to imagine our whole body either is a ball or is inside like a ball or a bubble. We're going to use the little ball here, just have toy balls from like the drugstore or Target or someplace, right? And you can take the ball between your thighs. If you don't have a ball, you can do without, or you can roll up a pillow or a towel and place it there. All right, so this exercise is designed to help us like massage out the area by our spine and also improve our breathing. The only time you wouldn't do it would be if you had like osteoporosis, which it tends to affect older people, not all of them, but another reason you wouldn't roll is if you're pregnant. So if you don't have those two issues that you're dealing with, you're good to go. And if you do, then you just do a modified smaller version. So what we're doing here though, show the full exercise first. So you can press your hands to the shins is the traditional position. To the thighs is a little easier. And then you can curl the tail up so you're sitting a little behind your sits bones and round your back into a curve. You want to see it from the side? But also, she's done this before too, so you can always look for some assistance there. Good. So now you want to definitely look down at your abs, down at your belly, and squeeze the bottom. So squeeze the edges of your feet together. Elbows wide, lifted a bit forward. Good. And the reason we do that is it pulls the shoulder blades around to the front of the body, so you can drop your ribs back a little bit and increase the curve of your back. You look down, you keep your gaze down, looking down your nose at your belly. And then we begin by just curling the tail up to roll back only to your shoulder blades and come right back up. So we inhale, we flick the tail up in the air, we roll the blades up in the air, and then exhale, come right back to where we started. Good. And you want to think about maybe inhaling to expand the back and then roll on it. Exhale to come forward and up. Now, just a word, you guys are all on these good padded mats. If it's uncomfortable for your spine, people at home particularly, you might need more padding, right? So like one yoga mat is not often enough. If you have several or you place it over a towel, that's helpful. So we're going to press the legs forward into the hands and press the hands back into the legs and feel how that firms up the arms and the abs. Good. And then if you press the ball and you squeeze the inner edges of the feet together, you can feel that connection through your full inner line of your legs. Now roll. Lift the tail, breathe into your back, balance on the shoulders. Exhale, come right back up where you started. Nice. And it's a question of using just the right amount of effort. So we inhale to go back, pull this off the ground. You never want to like throw your head onto the floor, right? Risk of concussion, not a good thing. An exercise program. Yeah. And so you just inhale to take it back to your legs, exhale to come right back up to your balance, and you continue rolling back and forth. Now, one of the things that's really good about this exercise is if you're doing it, working your right and left side equally, you're rolling straight down the midline of your mat and then straight back up, just like that. Good. Good. And if you're having trouble with this, it is easier to hold on to your thighs, because then if you get stuck a little bit, you can kick the legs forward and then that will bring you up. But you just have to watch you don't overbalance. And you will overbalance when you first learn it sometimes, because it's just, your body doesn't know what it doesn't know yet, right? So practice will change things if you know what the goal is. Here we go. So now we're going to go into some of the ab series. So we're going to begin by just looking at what happens with the legs. So in the first of the ab series, your right hand goes to the right ankle on the shin. Your left hand goes on the shin right below the right knee. And then what will be happening is we'll be switching the legs and switching the hands. So then the left hand goes to the left ankle and the right hand goes to the left knee at the shin, right? And then we switch again. It's always the outside hand on the ankle, so right hand to right ankle. And then when you switch the legs, it's left hand to left ankle. And all the smartest people I know get this wrong initially. So, like, no harm, no foul. Yeah. Good. And we'll just practice that one more time. The reason we do this is it helps keep the legs in alignment, so you're not like rocking back and forth and the legs not going flailing off wildly. Particularly when people are tight in their IT band, the leg wants to go out to the side instead of like tracking straight out of the socket. And we're all about alignment here, right? Because we want balanced muscles, balanced work through the center of our joints, and beautiful posture. And as much functional movement as we can get, too. All right, so now let's just extend the left leg forward, pull the right foot in, right hand at the right ankle, left hand is on the shin below the right knee, and we're rocking back slowly. If you do that, you can really work into your abs, and you can lift the leg and counterbalance. You can take it even all the way up to the ceiling, or you can bring it low. And you're using the push of your shin up into your hands, like shin is a tabletop, parallel to the floor, to pull you forward and up. Look down your nose at your navel. Now we inhale and we switch the legs. The right goes forward, left toe pulls in, left hand to the ankle. And we switch. Pull the right leg in tight, as long as it's okay for your knee, and then switch again. So we compress the leg in, and then we free it to slide forward. The legs move in and out like pistons here. They shoot across the room. And again here, remember, You can take the leg up high or at any angle that works for your back. And let's just pull the left leg in, pull both knees in, lay your head down, and just lower your feet. Open your arms out to the side and rock the knees a little from side to side. I just want to show anyone who needs a little help with this. It's quite all right if you have a ball, yoga block or something. You can just take it behind your head and do this. And it's going to give you a start to find a little bit of flexion through the throat and the upper chest, maybe not into the abs yet, but you can definitely do this exercise here. Or you can bring it in kind of right near the base of the scapula. Oops, I rolled away. That's what a ball does. And lean into it to give you support so that you're lifting your shoulders and your abdominals are absolutely engaged here because of the curve of the ball. So you can see it. So it's sort of like this. Right. And we all need help getting stronger in our necks initially when we start with Pilates. Particularly when people are tight in their chest, what happens with their posture is, and also computers lead us into this, like all the screens are so beautiful right now. So you end up, your head gets pulled forward into the screen. You ever notice that happens, like when you're reading something, you're really involved in a project, and that intensifies the fact that we tend to slump and collapse and do this. So what happens with that is the muscles in the back of our neck are always engaged and working, trying to drag the head back up and keep it from falling forward off the body. And the muscles in the front and our throat are now totally weak and slack and hardly ever being used. So when we're in that upper curl position and you're really supporting your head, you know, trying to bring it like vertical to the ground, number one, if you're tight through your body, you're hanging back and your head can't come up. So this is a problem because now your throat is taking all that work to try to prevent the head from falling to the floor. But even if you've got a good upper curl, right, and you're here, this is getting a little tired. So one way to think about it is you want to think about the long lever of the muscle from your jaw all the way down to your tailbone, holding you up, right? Because a longer lever is going to give you more ease in the neck. But this is a whole process and a request in Pilates because we're in that upper curl position a lot to strengthen the upper abdominals. But you agree, like even doing Pilates, I don't know, how many years now? 3, 4, something like that. It's hard to tell with the pandemic, right? It's kind of a blur. But I know I still feel it in my throat, in my neck, and I'm like, oh my God, right? So and then I realize it's usually because I've lost track of what I'm doing, I've fallen flatter, or I've been looking around to see what someone else is doing in the class, which, you know, is my job, but it's still not ideal for my own alignment. Or if I'm just tired and not focused, you know, you fall back. And then you're feeling it. So sometimes you have to recommit, sometimes you need a prop, but eventually you get used to it, and it's like your subconscious holds you up and you have to consciously think about it. Anyway, so we're going to progress now. So we just did the first of the ab series, which was the legs coming back and forth like this, like pistons. In the second one, the legs and the arms go up to the sky, and then the legs fold in and you embrace them in with your arms. We're going to practice this a little bit first to be sure that everyone is safe. So what I'd like to begin this is, number one, let's start with knees bent, hands to the back of your thighs, and we're going to roll back again. So curl the tail up, pull the waist back, go past your sits bones to your sacrum, to the hip, to the waist, to the base of your ribs, maybe the tip of your blades, and just stay here and lift the arms up to the ceiling. And you can already feel that increased load in your abs. Now slowly, see, you're trying to prevent yourself from falling further to the ground with your spine. Can you bring the arms back and notice where you get maximum work in your abs without falling flat? There'll be a point at which if you take it back, you're like start to flatten your spine. That's not where we want to be. So come up again. Did y'all feel that? Yeah. Yeah, right? Because it's really easy in the heat of movement to go like wee and then circle around, right? And there are some people who actually teach it where you flatten and then lift to come up, which has its own kind of thrill to it. But if you're really working to strengthen this butt abdominal line, we want to really challenge it and then maintain that position to get stronger and stronger and here in our upper abs. So this way you can kind of tell where the movement's going to be. So again, sit upright, perch on your sits bones, and let's just think about this again. So we start looking down, you curve the tail up towards your gaze. You're going behind your sits bones, rounding the back, and I'm going to bring my arms forward so from the side I can see it on the screen, and then roll it back here. Come down a little bit at a time. Find your best upward curl, and then squeeze the legs together. That'll help the low abs engage. Bring the arms up and back, and then just circle the arms around to your legs. Maybe connect into a little deeper upward curl. Then take the arms up and back. Circle forward and around. Beautiful. We want to find that wingspan. Stretch out long, bring it forward. And one more. How far can you go without going flat? And exhale, bring it in. And now lift it up. Ooh, and if you come up slow enough, it's hard to lift. Also, just another fact for any guys who may be watching this. So men tend to have a lot more weight in their upper body, like through their chest and their shoulders. Women have more weight in their pelvis. So like Joseph Pilates, he always wore studio shoes with steel plates in the bottom of them to kind of balance out that work. So if you're a guy and you're going back to some of these positions and your feet are lifting off the ground, you could have gone too far back, but it's also true that just your upper body weight and your proportions may be pulling you back further, and then your feet are not able to stay grounded. So different options would be to put like ankle weights on here would be helpful, or extend the legs forward. In a professional Pilates studio, we have mats with straps that go over people's ankles to help them with that. But if you're a guy and you're kind of struggling with that, not your fault, just your build. We appreciate all of it. So here we go. So now the next part to this exercise is the legs. So if you go back and just lay down onto your spine, and then pull your legs into your chest, lift the legs up to the ceiling. Maybe take your hands to your belly, and then see as you slowly bring the legs forward, how far can you go without feeling your back start to arch and you feel like you're losing the control you have from your abdominals. And then you want to exhale to bring it back in. And this could also look like you might have bent knees slightly, and you could hinge from your hip to go out and away. That would be if your hamstrings are tighter, right? And exhale and you pull it back. Can you feel that? Like your body definitely tells you when you've gone too far. This is super important because the psoas muscle is the deep hip flexor muscle that supports the weight of the legs in this position, pays out to let the legs go forward, and then engages to pull them back. But the thing about the psoas muscle is it connects to every single vertebra and every intervertebral disc. And if you go too far, it's quite possible that you can, over time, displace a disc or a vertebra. So you want to strengthen into this so you're working where you're feeling supported and not strained. Yep. How's that feeling? You feel that it's a ton of work when you take your legs slowly forward and pull them back? It also, if you come to your upper curl and support your head, you'll have a little bit more mobility because now the waist is pressed into the ground. I just want to be sure it's clear to everybody, like what is safe for their back and what feels unsafe, right? Do you feel like you can tell? Okay, good. So we're going to combine this and the previous thing we just did. So the double leg stretch, more advanced exercise than the single leg stretch we did first. So we can roll back into our upper curl and take the legs to tabletop, hands to shins, and you can pull the elbows wide, push up with your shins, down with your arms to feel that connection not only into your arms but also into your abs. Then you inhale and just go for the ceiling. Stretch the arms and legs up to the sky. Circle the arms around, embrace the legs into your chest. And then we reach up and circle the hook in. Keep looking down at your belly. Now the arms can go a little further backwards and go a little further out. Just don't overwhelm your spine. Keep the work in your abs. And you stretch and exhale and embrace it in. We're doing one more of these to lengthen, exhale and pull it on home. And then rock forward and up to sitting. How'd you feel with that? Good, right? You can feel it's like all the work with these arms and limbs going away from center are making us stronger if you do it correctly. If you do it incorrectly, like it's kind of random flailing, then you can hurt yourself and you're not really strengthening the center of our body. So we keep going from the work at the extremities back into our core and out again. It's like a continual process of checking, making sure that everything is working as it should, so you get stronger and stronger gradually, and then gradually your range of motion will increase. That's why it's so hard when you learn, like learning online from videos. You don't know who you're watching, like what kind of body they have, or how long they've been doing it. You know, do they train for this all the time, or probably, or they wouldn't be posting on YouTube or whatever, right? So it's important to kind of know like what feels right in your body and what the danger signals are for your back, because we want you to get stronger and not have a setback while you're getting stronger. Okay, so that's good. So we've done, we started out with hundreds. We did the roll up. We did rolling like a ball. We then went, and the single leg circles also were the first 4. Then we dropped in the first 2 of the ab series, the single leg stretch and then the double leg stretch. And now we're going to add the last of the basic 5, which is the intro Pilates, which is called spine stretch. If you're really tight in your hamstrings, you may want to get a yoga block or a book if you're at home to sit on, or several. I have some clients, like some of my older clients, are so tight they have to sit on little ottomans or even sometimes on chairs in order to get mobility into their spine that feels good for them and not be so flexed that they're not moving. So, but you guys are good. So we're going to extend the legs forward here, the legs a little bit wider than your hips, maybe not quite as wide as the edge of your mat, and then sit upright. Now, if you're tight in the hamstrings and then in the low back, what you'll see is that your back is rounded like so, and you're kind of sitting behind your sits bones. If that's the case, you want to bend your knees and come upright to sit right on top of your sits bones, and maybe check with your arm behind your back. Right? So, like here, I see if there's an indentation, a curve. That's the natural curve of your spine, and we want to keep that when we start the movement. So if you really have to bend your knees a lot to sit up here, right? You may want to grab a yoga block to practice on. Just you could try it or not. But let's try sitting so that wherever you are, that you're sitting upright on your sits bones. Maybe the knees are bent, maybe they're straight, but you want to have ear over shoulder over hip, and you're really vertically lifted here. Now, a lot of times people, when they sit this way, they're going, oh my God, like my hip flexors are killing me. It's because our bodies aren't used to sitting upright. We're used to this, right? So we kind of hang back into like the sling of some of our ligaments to hold us up, and we're not really using our core strength. So we're going to sit upright and then bring the arms forward parallel to the floor, collarbones wide so the shoulders are falling down your back. And now we look down your nose, let the hip tip, and then without moving the torso, move your head and your neck. You've got 7 vertebrae in your neck, just bring that forward and then stack the neck back up again. So we're just here, just practicing head and cervical spine movement. And then again, so look at the horizon, look down your nose, tip your chin, and then bring the back of your skull out over and down. So you feel that length of the back of your neck. And now let's start to move the thoracic spine, which is the part where the ribs are, going over, and down. And you want to curve the belly back. So it's almost like, again, here, you're laying over a beach ball. And then we're going to stack the spine from the bottom to the top. So sink the tail, press down through your heels. The back lifts you gradually. The belly allows it, and you bring your gaze up to the horizon. That's it, wide collarbones. So we inhale here to go tall. Exhale, look down, think head, neck, upper back, mid back, low back. Suck the waist back. Bend the spine forward over the legs. So exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. Press down through your legs. You inhale to come all the way up. It's as if your body was filled with helium and it lifts you from the bottom to the top. And you lift your chest or the arms as your gaze lifts up the wall to the horizon. Good. And we're going looking down. Exhale out, over, and down. Imagine you're up against the wall and you're peeling yourself off the wall from the top of your spine to the base. Dive over here, stretch it out. And you can hold on to your legs, toes, ankles, calves, thighs, whatever kind of works for you. And then press down with your legs. Imagine your tail dropping down to the center of the earth and come all the way upright. Good. Collarbones wide at the top of the movement so the blades fall behind you. Like they're just surfing down on a huge wave. One more. Look down and dive over. Out with the head, out with the neck. Move the vertebra one after the other. Unzip yourself from that imaginary wall behind you. And then we're going to zip yourself back up the wall, bottom to top. That's good. That's great. And then you can lower the arms down. So, Pilates, over and over again, we're trying to figure out how to get people to articulate their spine sequentially from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. And I think what I want to do now is, because that's like a good intro session. Once you learn that, you could do that whole series maybe in 15 minutes, maybe a little less, right? Depending on how much time you have and how weak you are when you start. But it always takes longer at the beginning to go through this exercise because you don't know what you need to be focused on. So I'm trying to give you that extra time right now. But let's come up to standing now and look at a standing backwards extension. So let's see if I can turn this, which I'm sure I can, but. Should fit this way. Ow. So we're stand a little on the diagonal too, but helpful. You guys can move if you want to see me from the side too. Either of your own street. So, okay. So bending backwards, what we call extension. Flexion is coming forward, which you've done a lot of on the mat. A lot of the Pilates work is on the mat too, because it gives you more feedback, so you know where your spine is, where you're starting and where you're ending. But standing is a little more difficult because it's kind of like you're out in space. Anyway, so bending forward is flexion, coming backwards is extension. And the issue with extension is most people, because our spines have curves here at the mid-back and the back of the neck, that make you want to go backwards. They're designed to kind of flow in that direction. So a lot of people, when they think of backward bending, they just push their hips forward and throw their chin up in the air. And it does give you a backward curve, but it's not helpful to our bodies because now we're just crunching the part that already has that natural curve. And for Pilates, we're maybe thinking, particularly now, because so many people are what we call kyphotic, they're crunched forward and they're collapsed in on their chest. We want to open this thoracic part of the body where the ribs are, where the shoulders are. So we're going to begin by just taking your hands to your low belly and pressing in the area above the pubic bone and below the navel. And then we're going to push in and then lift the flesh up, literally with your hands, like you're moving the flesh, you're moving some of the organs underneath. And then rotate the palms so they're up and come up to the base of your ribs. Then we're going to pick up the ribs one by one. Pick up the chest, bring your hands up to your sternum, the breastbone, and you slide your fingers along the sternum. Slide your hands along the collarbones, the shoulder blade tips, and then pull the elbows back down and in as you lift the heart. Then the head you go back as much as you're comfortable with. Feel that stretch, you're winding across the chest, you're elongating the whole front line of the body. And then exhale, come out of it, so from the bottom to the top. And then just see, how did that feel? Like really stretch the ear, right? And like now, you probably wouldn't even want to collapse forward because it feels like, oh, that feels like wrong. My body wants to be lifted and free and elevated. And even taller than you were when you walked in here. All right, so again, so do this from the side for you, for the front for the people on film. So you press your hands into the low belly, you push in and you lift up. Then you rotate the palms up to the ceiling so you can feel your hands cupping, like the edge of your head cupping the rib cage. Come up rib by rib by rib, lift lift the chest. And slide to the sternum, come up, find your collarbones, go along the bony ridge, out to the shoulders, pull the elbows back down and in behind you. You lift the heart a little higher, you look up. And then if you want to go a little further back with your head falling, you can. For some people it's comfortable, for other people it isn't. And then exhale, think of coming back from the belly, up to the chest, and then finally the head is balanced on top of your shoulders, looking forward to the horizon. Feels good, right? It just automatically changes your posture like immediately. It's the antithesis to sitting like slumped at your desk looking at the screen or a book. You know, we still look at books. So let's do that again, one more time. So hands to the belly, push in, lift the ribs, lift the chest, hands to the sternum, slide up, open the collarbones, heart is high, elbows go back down and in, gaze is up, even look up at your hairline, and then exhale, release on out. Okay, and you guys look great, excellent. Feel light and long. Right? So we're just going to end with an exercise called wall here. So we start arms long at your side, simple over here so I can see you. And then we bring the arms forward and up. It's like a hallelujah moment. You can look up at the space between your hands and circle the arms wide, like we did that double leg stretch, and bring them down at your side. Turn the palms behind you. Inhale, the arms go up to the ceiling, and then exhale out wide. Now your hands should be a little in front of your collarbones, so you're not taking the upper back into extension right now. Turn the palms down, and we lift again. Feet are apart, maybe 4 to 5 inches, and then circle out, around, and down. And now we reverse. This reminds me of an orchestra pulling the music up to a big crescendo out of this orchestra, and then silencing them. Diminuendo here, palms forward and reach up and out, come up to the sky, and then exhale. The universal signal for everyone, be quiet now. And then we lift. This is like, oh my God, my team just scored. And then exhale down. It's so funny, my teacher, Eric Franklin, said this lifting up, this is like universal. Like humans do this when they're excited and happy, right? It's joy. And then you bring the arms down. It's calming. Now shake out your body, shake out your head, your legs, your shoulders, your arms, everything you got. And then maybe the feet a little wider. We're going to do a standing roll down here. So look down, chin to chest, let the head hang, and then you're just going to bring your head and neck forward. Start to bend through your spine. You can bend your knees slightly, more if your hamstrings are tight. And then the arms are just dangling here right from your shoulders. Over, and you're just bringing your hands somewhere between your ankles and your knees. Stay there, hang there. Your belly lifts up into your back. Small circles here with your arms. Circling the arms towards each other in a way. Draw circles the size of an orange. And you're just like a rag doll hanging here from your owner's arms. The arms floppy and loose. And let the arms be still, reverse the circles. And then we quiet the arms again. They hang perfectly lax. They're vertical because they're hanging right into gravity. Now bend your knees a little bit more, spread your feet and push the ground down. And then you sink your tail, it drops to the ground behind you. You're a very bad dog, and then you're going to stack your spine up a little bit at a time. Your gaze on the floor and then across the floor. Look out at the horizon and take a deep breath in. And then out. And that's our first class of the semester. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it. And thank you to my students who came to class. Appreciate your being here. Everyone, be good. If you have any questions, come to the Matchbox. We're here Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 12 to 1. All right, thank you. Bye.